Hey everyone, welcome to the channel and welcome to another SPFBO review. If you've been keeping track, you'll know that this one is the last of my reviews for my Team Bookborn allocation. Today I'm going to take a look at To Steal the Sun by S.M. Carter. So To Steal the Sun by S.M. Carter was actually a late addition to the Team Bookborn allocation. It replaced another title that was removed from the competition in the check-in stages because it wasn't a fantasy novel, if I remember correctly. But I'm really pleased that To Steal the Sun was brought in to replace it and had the opportunity to take part in the competition because I really enjoyed it. I like a good heist fantasy, and if the title doesn't do a good enough job of telling you, let me just say that this is, in my opinion, a good heist fantasy. We follow a crew as they cross the South Asian inspired jewelled lands, aiming to pull off the biggest of big heists, one that can have massive ramifications as well on the fragile peace experience between two rival nations. Heist stories in general can be quite formulaic, so you need to have something else, and that's usually going to be some really interesting characters and some clever plans and clever backup plans as well, and I think To Steal the Sun did a good job on both of those aspects. Despite the intricate planning and the nice world building, I would say however that this is a book where the characters do tend to do most of the heavy lifting. There are 4 players listed in the synopsis, although 2 of them are kind of a package deal, so we end up with 3 point of view characters, and you might think that because it's a heist, because they're all part of a crew, they spend a lot of time together, why are the multiple POVs needed? But this is not the sort of heist where you want to be away from the key actions of any of the characters as they split up for their individual roles in it. We start with Rake, who is a cunning smuggler and he's the mastermind of the heist. He brings together the characters to form the crew, and he includes Kirin, who is a class archer and is essentially his protege. Then there's Amara, the master thief, who has a dark power hidden within her. And then lastly we've got Carly, who is a religious assassin who's placed into the crew as well. She's ambitious and tenacious and she's in it for the prestige. If they succeed, she'll be elevated to 3rd of her order and the coveted position of royal assassin. So naturally each of the other characters have their motives as well, and they all have secrets, and that's one of the kind of hallmarks of a good heist story, as they learn to work together while not necessarily trusting each other. And as for the heist itself, Rake's crew have been tasked with stealing the source of a rival king's power, allowing his enemies to sweep in and pick him dry. And that source of power is the king's collection of runes, stones imbued with powerful magic that can be used to enhance armour and weapons to make a soldier practically invincible, and they also have some other properties as well, including powers of healing. So the crew has to travel from one kingdom to another, sneak into the Sky Spire, evade the rune knights that guard the king and his collection of runes, steal the stones themselves, and of course get out of there in one piece. Or as few additional pieces as possible, I suppose. Of course I won't go into the details of the plot itself, but I do like the character development that we get along the way. As I said, each of these characters has their own motives and they've all got their own secrets, and we do get to learn a bit about these for each of them. There are some flashbacks to give backstory, and I like the way that these were integrated and how they were not even close to being overused. I found all of the characters to be quite interesting, so when I turned a page and started a new chapter, I was never disappointed in reading the name at the top of the page. I would say that Carly was probably my favourite of the characters because I do have a bit of a soft spot for underestimated but highly competent characters. She also has a pretty cool weapon of choice as well, which was always fun to see in full swing. Now this is a good point to note that I did listen to the audiobook for To Steal the Sun, and I think the narrator did a really good job throughout, and I really like the voices that she gave to the characters. The character Carly does have a stutter, and I thought this was really well portrayed in the narration. I'll also note that the ebook that I was provided for SPFBO review purposes did have a font that I found a little bit difficult to read in long portions, and neither my physical Kindle nor my Kindle for PC app was able to change the font at all. The book is enrolled into Kindle Unlimited however, and a friend who's picked it up through there did check it for me and confirmed that the ebook available through Amazon is in a more standard and easy to read font. Because it was a really good narration though and I enjoyed it overall, I would definitely recommend the audiobook for those to whom it's available. Back to the book itself, and overall the story went really well for me. As I suggested earlier, it's more character driven than plot driven, but there are plenty of twists and turns, plans and backup plans, a little smidge of romance, some cool magic and other interesting world building, and altogether that added up to a very satisfying reading experience for me. So those were my quick thoughts anyway on To Steal the Sun by S.M. Carter, the final book that I've got in my SPFBO9 allocation. So now I've got a decision to make over my semi-finalist choice. Stay tuned for that coming up shortly. In the meantime, if this is one that you've read or that you're interested in picking up, drop me some comments down below. I'll hopefully see you in the next video sometime soon. But until then, as always, take care of yourselves, read some good books. Bye for now.